I felt this hot breath on the back of my neck.
I did not see anything that was not a dog track.
It wasn't a figment of my imagination. It was real. Something was there.
You know, he just tried to chew in around the doors.
Oh my God! What the f?
Hundreds of witnesses claim to have seen the Michigan Dogman. Most of these encounters were brief, a flash of movement, a shadow, a shape in the darkness. But some witnesses brought more than just stories. Some brought proof. This is Encounters 2, The Evidence.
Well, back in the summer of '87, I worked as a road patrol deputy for Lake County Sheriff's Department.
The Luther encounter of 1987 was neither typical nor dramatic. It was, however, one of the few Dogman events to draw an official police investigation. For that reason, the press paid attention and the public was riveted.
Before I got the call that day, it was just a typical day. I was going about my business. I was at the office. We got a phone call from a person that claimed that somebody had tried breaking into his house.
Sheriff's Department. I need to make a report of a break-in.
It was a cabin. It was owned at that time by some officers. I believe it was a Wayne County deputy sheriff and parts of his family, and they would come up and use it as a hunting cabin.
Is there anything missing? I don't think so. It's possible it was some kind of animal even. Okay, sit tight. We'll send a deputy out right away. Oh, believe me, I'm not going anywhere near that place till you get here.
Deputy Chamberlain was dispatched to the scene, arriving in the late afternoon. Expecting to find evidence of a garden variety break-in, Chamberlain was not prepared for what he saw.
When I first got to the scene, it was like, wow, what would have done something like this? I get right to here, and this door is completely discombobulated. There's teeth marks, there's scratches. It's partially out of the bottom section. And from about here down and all the way across here was chewed with chew marks. And there were slobber marks all the way across it, where you could see the tongue and everything, where something had happened, and it was obvious for the blood that was here. He bit himself or cut his mouth area over here on the door. And I requested the DNR officers just to try to find out what type of animal would have done the damage that got done.
So the officer and I went out there to take a look at it, and it was obviously it wasn't a bear, because he just tried to chew in around the doors, and so it was obviously a dog.
I did not see anything that was not a dog track.
The next day, reporter Mark Marintet of the Cadillac Evening News was hot on the trail of the story. 2 days later, Jim Mencarelli of the Grand Rapids Press was in Luther, interviewing locals and witnesses. Mencarelli's story was published, then picked up by the Associated Press. Within a week, the Michigan Dogman was front-page news around the world.
The Wolfman's back. This time he's prowling the woods of Lower Peninsula, western Michigan. Now they're calling him the Dogman, maybe just to be different, but otherwise he answers the familiar Lon Chaney Jr. description. But he's no less an American werewolf, claimed by eyewitnesses to be, quote, canine, walking upright, man-size.
Today, the Luther cabin remains a local landmark. Carloads of people drive slowly by, snap photos, and tell their children about what happened here on a summer day in 1987.
Thinking back on everything that happened that day up to now, I'm still bewildered as to what it could be.
During the frigid winter of 2008, two young girls were babysitting at a farm near the small town of Temple, Michigan. As often happens in such circumstances, after nightfall, the girls began hearing strange noises from outside the house. The commotion seemed to originate from a small barn on the opposite side of the yard. Knowing the building housed chickens, the girls feared that a bear had wandered onto the property seeking an easy meal. While one of them called the homeowner, the other grabbed a digital camera and stepped out to a side porch. She hoped to snap a picture of the bear for her father, an avid hunter. What she saw through the viewfinder was something quite different. From the far side of the barn, a tall, upright walking creature that resembled a wolf appeared. Startled, the girl clicked the shutter and ran back into the house. In a later interview, she said, "He looked right at me. I pushed the button just as he was turning to run away." After this photo was published online, several analysts from around the globe volunteered to study it. Tony Brilliard, a photo analyst from Arizona, thought it odd that a shot taken at night with a consumer digital camera would produce such a sharp image. Brilliard wrote, "Even with expensive cameras, I sometimes spend several minutes fiddling with stops and shutter speeds to get this kind of low-light performance." Artist Niels Brustad from Norway also examined the image and spotted something suspicious almost immediately. The creature in the picture is very similar to an artist's rendering done for the film Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. The rendering had been widely published on the internet. Brustad believed the artwork had been overlaid on a photograph using a sophisticated image manipulation program like Photoshop. He created a short video to demonstrate how it could have been done. Does the temple image depict a real creature? The witnesses remain steadfast that it does. And if so, is it a case of nature imitating art? Or is it purely art, manipulated by a computer to look genuine? Only you can decide. In 2010, this startling image was shot with an iPhone camera on US 31 between Benzonia and Bear Lake, Michigan. The photographer, an off-duty state police trooper from Indiana who was vacationing in the area. The image was shot around 12:30 a.m. Traveling north, the trooper had seen several pairs of eyes reflected in his headlights. Then, a group of 4 deer dashed across the road in front of him from left to right. One pair of eyes remained on the left side of the road. He slowed the car and grabbed his cell phone, hoping to capture a photo of the remaining deer. As his headlights illuminated the animal, he was startled to see it wasn't a deer, but appeared to be a large wolf, crouching in a sprinter position along the shoulder of the road. Momentarily dazed, the officer drove on for a few seconds, then quickly made a U-turn and returned to the spot, hoping to get a better look. Whatever had been there a few seconds before had vanished. In 2008, a video appeared on the internet that stirred imaginations across the world. Shot in the middle of the night, this traffic monitoring camera on Wessex Way, also known as A338 in southern Great Britain, shows what appears to be a large creature with long rear legs crossing the road with remarkable speed. At first, some people thought the animal looked like a greyhound or deer, but when investigators looked closer, that conclusion was quickly set aside. Comparisons to the Michigan Dogman started almost immediately. With analysis, the film reveals some dramatic details. At this point on Wessex Way, the road is roughly 132 feet wide, including the median and shoulders. Watch closely. The creature covers the entire width in 5 strides. That equates to a single stride of 26 feet. An Olympic sprinter at full speed will reach a stride of just under 7 feet. Also of interest is the leap over the median. The double guardrail barrier is 40 inches high, yet the animal clears it by several feet and never breaks stride. Third is the way the animal scrambles to get out of the way of the oncoming car. Experts in computer graphics animation have stated this kind of panic movement is very difficult to recreate. And finally, the shape and size of the creature itself. It appears very tall, lean, and muscular, without much hair covering its body. The head and rear legs appear human, while the torso and front legs are distinctly canine. Many skeptics dismissed the Wessex video as a hoax, but no one could explain how it was done. Then came this. Still photos taken 1 year later from another surveillance camera 3 miles away. The camera shot images every few seconds. The creature appeared. Then it was gone.
So we were going out to check out this haunted house. We've been out at a party, and some buddies and me, and we had our video camera with us because we wanted to see if we saw anything. So we were rolling, kind of wandering around.
In the fall of 2007, a group of students from Eastern Michigan University decided to take a ghost hunting road trip to a rural area in Michigan's Thumb. At the request of the students, neither their identities nor the location of the house will be revealed.
We had been told, go check this house out for months. Some of our friends had said they'd been there and it was crazy, spooky. So we took the drive and we got out there, and 3 of us got out. 1 of us stayed in the car, and I don't know, we just walking around the property, and I mean, you're hearing noises, but it's nighttime, it's spooky, it's the forest. You're thinking, whatever. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear this growl, and out in that area, it's not a little coyote. I don't know, it was something, it was fierce.
You guys want to walk to the well?
No.
I'm not going to run.
I'm not going.
Come on, it's just right through there.
No.
I'll go.
So, no. You going, Joe? Yeah. You gotta go.
It's nothing.
I felt this hot breath on the back of my neck.
Go back to the car.
Yeah, man, and
Go to the car.
we just bolted out of there.
Oh my God! What the?
I immediately just started running, and it wasn't until we looked at the video that I really knew I wasn't
Throw something.
it wasn't a figment of my imagination. It was real. Something was there.
I've never been so scared in my life.
Oh my God! What
As the young men dashed back to the car, 2 of them heard and felt large objects being hurled towards them.
Something! Someone throw something!
Spooked me out, and I didn't know if somebody had thrown it. I didn't know if something had fallen near me, but I knew there was something there, and the whole experience, I mean, it was crazy. It really was. It was nuts.
The students never saw what kind of animal had growled at them. Notably, none of them had heard of the Dogman legend before this encounter. When a fellow student showed them the Michigan Dogman webpage, they were stunned at the similarities between what they were reading and their own experience. While compelling, thought-provoking, and sometimes chilling, none of the encounters you've just seen provide conclusive proof that the Michigan Dogman exists. Yet, for the scores of witnesses who claim to have seen the Dogman, their eyes and their memories are all the proof they need.